Injuries. They happen to every hockey player, and big or small, they can have a serious impact on your career. And sometimes they happen at the worst timing, whether it's a playoff run, the start of a season, or in a playoff race. One of the worst times you can get injured is in your draft year, as you as a player spent your entire life to get to this level, and a serious injury can prove detrimental to your draft stock. Take the 2020 NHL draft as an example. Hendrix Lapierre was a dark horse coming into this season. However, after an extremely dominant Ivan Hlinka tournament, he would quickly earn the respect of a lot of teams, and quickly join the top 10, if not top 5 discussion. But he would suffer a season-ending concussion that may have serious complications on his career. So for the time being, the future is up in the air for Hendrix, as we have no clue where he'll go, and if teams do pass on him and he does develop into that two-way star, he may just be the biggest steal of the entire draft. So today's video, we're going to go over players who got injured in their draft year. We're going to take a look at how it affected their draft stock and where they are today. So comment down below if your team has ever drafted a player who got injured in their draft year. If so, what happened? And drum roll, a big congratulations to JDP Trooper as he won the 20,000 subscriber jersey giveaway. And thank you to everyone who are continuing to support the channel and who did participate in this giveaway. I do plan on doing more in the future. I'm just glad I can do this stuff for you guys because the support has been awesome. So follow me on Twitter if you haven't already for some more updates on that. And the mustache and tank top, it's back due to popular demand. You guys did this, so I thought I'd deliver, you know? But anyways guys, press subscribe for some more awesome content. Let's get straight into this video. We will start with Mark Stone, as Stone would see a monumental fall in his draft stock due to multiple injuries. Because heading into his draft year, Stone would put up a very respectable 17 goals, 39 points, and 56 games. So combine that with the budding two-way game and great leadership qualities, Mark Stone had some serious interest heading into his draft year. However, Stone would face a multitude of injury issues, as he had a serious thumb injury that kept him out of the lineup, and then had a very serious concussion, which caused him to only play 39 games. And with this, his confidence and momentum would be gone from injuries, so Stone would see some regression in his draft year as he only put up 28 points. And so Stone would fall from a top 50 prospect, if not a first round pick, all the way down to the 6th round. And so the Ottawa Senators would arguably get the best player in the entire 2010 NHL draft, not in the first round, but at pick 178. In the next 2 seasons, Stone would explode, proving everyone wrong who passed on him because of his injuries, as he would rack up 106 points and then finally an astounding 123 points while playing a great defensive game. And so with this momentum and improved skating, Stone would put up a very impressive 64 points in his rookie season while playing an elite two-way game, which also finished him second in Calder voting as he lost by just a hair to Aaron Ekblad. Just shy of point per game this season, and Stone is someone who will win multiple Selkies by the end of his career. Next, we have Brett Connolly. And after looking back at the 2010 NHL draft, I was honestly very surprised in the sheer amount of volatility we saw in this draft class. Because heading into 2010, there was about 5 players or more who had a legitimate chance of going first overall. Tyler Seguin, Taylor Hall, Kirill Kabanov, Cam Fowler, and even Brett Connolly. Now, as the year went on, it became the Tyler versus Taylor saga, but heading into the draft year, it was very interesting to see that many players receiving so much attention. As Brett Connolly, a year before his draft, would put up a very impressive 30 goals, 60 points, which would earn him Rookie of the Year in the WHL, and with Connolly also being 6'3" with number 1 winger upside, he was very intriguing. However, in his draft year, Connolly would suffer a very serious hip injury, which would only allow him to play 16 games where he put up 10 goals and 19 points. And so because of missing basically the entire season, his positioning in the draft was very unclear, as he had a legitimate chance of being top 3, if not first overall if he did progress, and Tampa would take a chance on him at number 6. And to be honest, Connolly would be a flop with Tampa. He spent 5 years going back and forth on the minors, got traded to Boston, signed with Washington, where he'd finally see some great progression, as he put up 22 goals and helped them win the cup, and was on pace for another 20 goal season this year with the Panthers. Next, we have Timothy Lilgren. And Lilgren would see a massive fall in his draft year as he was a legitimate first overall candidate but slipped all the way to number 17. And this happened because he got mono in his draft year, which forced him to miss the first 2 months of the season. And if you guys aren't familiar with what mono is, it's a type of infection that basically makes you sick for a long duration of time. So just think back to the last time you had a cold or the flu, but imagine being stuck in that state for not just 3 days, but months. And so being like that is going to seriously hurt a prospect's development, as it means it's going to be nearly impossible to train, and when you finally get back on the ice, you have an uphill battle. And since being drafted, Lilgren has been taking his time in the minors, but he has been demonstrating some great progression, as he went from putting up 17 points in his first season to putting up 30 points in 40 games this year. And he had an 11-game stint with the Leafs. And so if Lilgren keeps demonstrating this progression, he has a very bright future. Next, we have Brandon Saad. And Saad would also see a massive fall in his draft year, because heading into the 2011 season, Saad was a consensus top 5 pick. And he was actually pegged at number 4 by Bob McKenzie in his preseason rankings. And it was well deserved, as he was over a point per game in the USHL and helped the US U18 win gold. And so heading into his draft year, there was a lot of expectations. However, Saad would face an array of injury issues. And what made it even worse is because Saad was so competitive and he didn't want to let his dream slip, instead of resting and fully fixing those injuries, he played through them. He missed parts of the season when it got bad, but it was reported that he was really struggling. And so because of injury, Saad's play would decline, and he'd go from a consensus top 5 pick to being drafted at number 43, where the Chicago Blackhawks would find a gem, as they would basically get a top 5 pick in the second round. And so Brandon Saad the next year would show massive progression, and he would even make the jump into the NHL the next year and be an impact player for the Hawks and won the Stanley Cup. And Saad has been a great player ever since. He's had some pretty big ups and downs in the recent years, but overall, he's had a great career. Next, we have Morgan Rielly. And this one wasn't a major fall, but if Morgan Rielly wasn't injured, we would have seen a massive ripple effect on that draft. Because Morgan Rielly in his draft year would tear his ACL, which is a very serious injury that can negatively affect your entire career. And so after having a great rookie season for Moose Jaw and very impressive international tournaments, Rielly was highly touted for the 2012 NHL draft, as he was an elite puck-moving defenseman who could defend and had superb offensive instincts. But his ACL injury would only allow him to play 18 games in his draft year, where he would put up 18 points, but this injury scared a lot of teams. But for the teams who were actually scouting Rielly, they would have known he was the best player in this draft class. In fact, some teams even did cue into this, including Brian Burke in the Leafs.
Somebody reminded me online, you were the one to pick Morgan Rielly, correct?
Yes.
You had him pegged at number 1.
Yes. Tripled up the coverage on his game. So we had 4 and 5 scouts that watching all of his games, which is unusual. Usually you don't have more than 1 or 2. And they came back and we had him rated number 1. So that was the draft that Yakupov went number 1.
As Burke has openly stated that he had Morgan Rielly as the best player in this draft class. And he actually sent at least 3 times more scouts to watch him in those 18 games. And so the Maple Leafs would be handed a gift at number 5. And Rielly would take a little longer to develop, but he has turned into a legitimate top 2 defender, who is hands down the best skater of the 2012 NHL draft class. And it's pretty crazy to think how differently things would have played out if Rielly played the entire season, as he would have got the proper respect he deserved, and maybe Edmonton drafts their number 1 defender and they didn't have to deal with Nail Yakupov. And we will end with Nolan Patrick. And again, not a significant drop by any means, but heading into the 2017 NHL draft, Nolan was the consensus first overall pick, as he would put up a very impressive 102 points a season before his actual draft year, which of course made Patrick the headliner going into the draft. However, Patrick would suffer a serious hernia injury, which would restrict his entire draft season to only 33 games. which is terrible luck for the potential first overall pick. And in those 33 games, Patrick would put up a respectable 46 points, so he was on pace for another 100 plus point season, but the damage was already done, as he missed key parts of the season and was unable to attend the World Juniors. Whereas Nico Hischier had a dominating World Junior performance, which caused his draft stock to explode. And today, Patrick is dealing with a brutal migraine disorder, which has unfortunately kept him out of the lineup for the entire 2019-2020 season. And to be honest, people have been pretty underwhelmed with Patrick's career up until this point. But just like Sean Couturier, if Patrick can get back into full-time action, I can see him developing into a great two-way centerman, as he has shown glimpses of stardom, but this migraine disorder has really set him back. But how do you guys feel about Patrick? Will he ever rebound? But anyways guys, has your team ever drafted an injured player? If so, let me know what happened, I'd love to know. And again, a big congratulations to JDP Trooper on winning the jersey. You know, I'm just happy to be in the position where I can do these giveaways to you guys. The support on this channel has just been, it's been blowing my mind, because it may seem like I sound a bit corny, but you guys supporting the channel and the growth we've been seeing is literally making my dreams come true. If you guys didn't know, I've been doing YouTube for probably the past about 10 years now. I've had channels come and go, but this one has just been, it's been different. It's been special. I'm in more of that position where I can put my all into this channel and try to get better in each video. And I'm just glad that we're progressing and I'm getting so much support. It's just been amazing, because I could have just never have imagined me being on the verge of hitting 25,000 subscribers and over 4 million views. Just insane. Anyways guys though, press subscribe for some more awesome hockey content. Thank you guys for the support again. Amazing. Hope you guys are all doing well. See you guys later.